So I'm officially the longest standing SMMA guy on YouTube that actually owns a real agency. And because of that, I feel like I've got a moral obligation to record this video. Now, the agency industry has skyrocketed in the last 12 months. Right now, there are 1,400% more searches for the keyword SMMA than there were this time last year, which is pretty mental, right? It feels like all the crypto kids are bored of waiting for the next bull run, and so they've jumped ship into SMMA. But as part of that, we've had this sea of new gurus join the YouTube space over the past 12 months. At the start of last month, I looked on YouTube and I was like, wow, where the hell did all of these people come from? And so I wanted to look into this, right? Something didn't sit right. I wanted to dig into these people and actually find out how many of these gurus actually own a real successful agency. And I'll tell you how many. Less than 10%. And I know that because I dug into all the top guys myself. I thought it would be bad, but I didn't know it would be this bad. Now, as I was doing this, I saw a video of some kid getting called out because he asked his video editor to get rid of the Stripe name at the top of his Stripe so he could use his revenue from his course business as his agency. But the thing that was crazy to me was not that, because I've seen that 1,000 times before. It was the comments of everybody thinking how crazy that was, like it was a unique circumstance. Whilst 90% of all of their favorite gurus are doing the exact same thing, using their online course education business revenue as their agency's revenue and leveraging that to get sales. And that's a very big problem because a course business is completely different to a service-based agency. And I can say that as someone that's made multiple millions from both of those business models over the past few years. Selling a product is completely different to selling a service. And the reality for the majority of these gurus is they bought somebody else's online course out there. They wanted to start an agency at some point. Maybe they signed up 1 or 2 clients, realized it was pretty hard. Maybe they post a success screenshot in the Facebook group of the course, and they had loads of other people saying, hey man, how did you get those clients? And somewhere it clicked within them that there was a money-making opportunity that they could start their own course teaching those people. And so that opportunity is way more attractive than running an agency and outreaching to all these local companies. And so they make a little bit of money and start leveraging that revenue and pretending it's an agency that is growing. And the problem there is it just feeds this hamster wheel of, frankly, fraud. And that's not okay. And I'm not comfortable with it. And so many people are getting sold into this industry right now with completely false expectations of what is and what isn't possible with an agency. Because the reality for the majority of people in this space is they're following strategies that are outdated, patchworked from other courses out there because the person that's teaching doesn't actually know what they're doing because they don't run an agency. And the only way you can teach someone how to build a profitable agency right now is if you are running a profitable agency right now. Either a lead generation agency or an e-commerce agency, okay? If you're an agency just working with agency owners, that doesn't count. It's not the same thing. The sales process is completely different. So you cannot teach that same thing to people that want to start a local lead gen or e-com agency. And by the way, guys, let's just throw this out there. Never start an e-com agency when you're first starting out. E-com agencies are incredibly hard to run, increasingly harder to run. I own an e-commerce agency, okay? There's no reason for me to push you away from it other than my own experience. And I know how hard it is to acquire e-commerce clients right now. You need a lot of experience, you need case studies, you need a reputation, you need referrals from existing clients and an incredible team as well. As a new start agency owner, you're simply not gonna have those things. You are not going to be able to compete with people like me, agencies like Affluent.co, who have been in this game for a long time. So if somebody is telling you to start off with e-com, steer clear of that person because they do not have a clue what they are talking about. Because if they actually owned an e-com agency like I do, they would know how hard it is to scale up that business. And I've been in the game for over 4 years now. If you're starting out, you need to start a local lead generation agency. And I say local, I mean local. If you live in Liverpool in the UK, reach out to local companies to Liverpool, because we need leverage, we need an in. And when you're first starting out in an industry like an agency, which is saturated, there are lots of other people out there. There is a lot of competition. Reality is 99% of those people won't succeed, okay? Because they'll give up on the first hurdle, they won't have the resilience it takes to actually make a success of it. But the reality is you are going to be competing with other people in the world, in your country, wherever. And so we need whatever leverage we can find. And that leverage for the majority of people, it's giving our potential client a reason to have a meeting with us. And one of those reasons when we're first starting out is being local geographically. Now, another massive problem with the abundance of content that's going out there at the moment, as the YouTube real estate diminishes with saturation of gurus out there, everybody's trying to put out the highest quality videos. Give it all away for free. This is my exact script that you can use word for word that's going to help you sign up your first ever client. That shit doesn't help anybody, because the script is just the tip of the iceberg, right? What's underneath and what truly matters is the psychology behind what you are saying. It's understanding the reasons why you are saying those words, understanding the triggers in the human brain that create enough desire for somebody to want to have a meeting with a stranger. And sure, you can copy and paste this script, and you might get a couple of meetings. But when you're sat in front of them on having that meeting and you're reading off another script, hoping that it's gonna work, not actually understanding why, and you get your first objections, you're gonna have no clue how to actually overcome them, because nobody's actually taught you the psychology behind why you are saying what you are saying. And when too many people watch that video, they use the same script and it stops working, you stop getting meetings, you're then scrambling for another email script because you haven't actually been taught how to write one yourself. And that's a fundamental flaw in the content that I see is going out there at the moment. I remember when I was in my first ever sales job, 100 cold calls a day. They gave me a script in my hand day one, and I was terrible for weeks. I used to go to the end of the office trembling with fear, reading off this script that wasn't in my dialect, not in my tonality whatsoever. And everybody in the office was failing. The majority of people were useless at sales. It had the highest staff turnover that I'd ever seen. But I remember what I had learned in drama. At the time I was going weekend drama school. I wanted to be an actor when I was young. And what you're taught very early on is as soon as you get your script, memorize it. Because once you memorize it, you stop looking at it as a bunch of words and you start reading into the emotion of it. You start reading into the psychology of the interaction within that script itself. And so I adopted that within this cold calling job. Despite everybody else reading off their script, I memorized it. I went home, and once I did, I learned why I was saying the words I was saying, and I adapted that script to my tonality. I read through the script and understood the parts that didn't quite read right because they weren't my words. And I rewrote that script with a new, fresh understanding of the psychology behind it. And within 3 months of being in that company, I was within the top 3 performers worldwide. Purely because I took the time to understand the psychology behind our sales script. And so many new start agency owners are at a danger for not doing that because not enough people are pushing how important that actually is. Because it's easier to presume we can just copy and paste a script and it's going to work. But the reality is nothing good worth having is easy. That sounds cheesy as fuck, but it's so true. An agency isn't easy whatsoever. An agency is actually a very difficult business to start. It has very low barrier to entry, which is why I think we are punished with it being laborious and time consuming. When you were first starting out, you were gonna get way more no's than you were gonna get yeses. You were gonna get a ton of rejection. And within that rejection, you were gonna understand the things that you have done wrong and the things that you need to adapt going forward. But I think gurus at the moment are making things way too simple for selfish gain and for quick profit, because it's no hidden fact that you can make a lot of money with an education business or a course. So that's one of the biggest problems that I'm finding. Now, another big thing that was wild to me when I was looking into this was how bait and switch most people are right now when it comes to their guarantees. I remember 2 years ago when I rebranded to the Affluent Academy, I launched the first ever guarantee in the agency space. I guaranteed people for the first time ever that they would sign up at least one client within 30 days of joining our program. That to me was a very realistic goal on the basis that I know when people are jumping into an agency and they've got no sales experience, I've got a lot of work cut out. I need to make sure that person has the right mindset, the right routine, the right habits. They've analyzed their personal life. They even understand the psychology of sales before they can pick up and start sending emails. I know there's a lot of work to be done on the foundations before somebody can sign up their first client. And I still knew confidently that people could sign up their first client within 30 days. It was a big move. No one had done it before. Within 1 year, other people had cottoned on, had seen it as a sales mechanism, and then they leveraged the shit out of it to create their own guarantees. The reality of it is these offers and these guarantees are not guarantees at all. They're pure bait and switch. They want to get somebody in the door, strike enough interest for you to be like, yeah, sure, I want that desired result. And then when you buy the product, you have to do all these things, this massive, extensive list of to-dos that you have to implement that are impossible for the majority of new start business owners to actually implement. Send 200 emails a day, make 100 cold calls a day, and then you have to hire a whole team infrastructure for you to even be able to fulfill that individual thing. At which point you don't have the money to be able to hire a team. So then you have to do everything manually yourself. The guarantee is irrelevant to you now, but you've been pulled in, they've made the money, so it doesn't really matter. And so you're left with no other choice but to graft your ass off, massively overpromised and underdelivered. And to me, a guarantee is something that you offer to all of your clients that actually put in the work, right? That actually meet the very achievable criteria that you have set. It's not a way to hook people, to lure them in, to strike the interest, and then you have this massive dequalification list. That's just fraud. It's false advertising. And frankly, it's getting ridiculous. And it's not just this case in the education space, but it's also becoming the way within agencies themselves. Feels like within the last 6 months, an agency offer is the new buzz thing, right? You need an agency offer if you're going to be successful with SMMA in 2023. That's the only thing that you need to be successful. A really good offer. And so one agency that maybe works with chiropractors says, I will guarantee to get you 10 extra clients this month. So a competitor says, I can do 15, 20, 30, 40. Race to the bottom. E-com agencies promising an extra 10K revenue a month. 20, 30, 40, 50, 100. Race to the bottom. And so the offer gets diluted. The offer just becomes a hook, and then it loses its meaning, and the customers get wise to that, and they realize that it doesn't actually mean anything. And I think that we're heading down a dangerous path because it's becoming normalized to overpromise and underdeliver. Yet some of the biggest companies in the entire world, like Apple, have it within their ethos to underpromise and overdeliver to every single customer. If you go on their website, you buy something today, it'll tell you the delivery time. Might be 7 days. I guarantee to you that item will turn up early because they recognize if they can, by surprise, over-deliver to their customers, they create this healthy, lasting impression in the minds of their customers, and by default, they will spend more money over their lifetime. Amazon do the same thing in a different way. Their customer service are exceptional. If you've ever had to refund or say something hasn't turned up, without question, they're going to send another item out to you because they have a buffer for every single customer. They know that that healthy, happy experience with the company is worth way more than any small revenue loss from an item not turning up or a return being out of date by a couple of days, because they know the customer will spend more money over a lifetime. And so we need to get into the habit as agencies to not fall into the trap of over-promising. Your offer is something that you need to deliver on. And the only way you can deliver on a great offer is if you get great at delivering a service for a specific niche. So don't fall into that trap. Understand that the secret to success as an agency owner is delivering an exceptional service to your clients and over-delivering to all of your clients. Because I can guarantee, and I will predict right now, that we're going to come full circle within the agency industry, and people are going to become wise to these very bold offers and very bold promises. And they're going to seek out the agencies that have the highest integrity. And as long as you, in everything that you do, hold yourself to the utmost integrity, you're going to be the one that prevails. And the exact same thing is going to happen to the gurus out there right now. There's going to be a revolution within this online education space within maybe the next year or two. We're already seeing it. The FTC are clamping down on people that are using false figures, using false case studies, frauding people out of their money. There's a guy called Kevin David who's one of the original ClickFunnels warriors, used to sell courses on Amazon, agencies, Facebook ads, all this stuff, and they were no good, regurgitated content. He got sued and the FTC came down on him for $3 million. He had to pay it out to his customers. Good riddance. I welcome it. And more of this is going to happen over the next few years. And so it's important to understand that only a small percentage of real, true, authentic people will actually last at the end of that revolution. And it is needed, because right now there's a lot of noise in the space, and it makes it harder, if anything, for people to succeed. And just recognize that if you're new to the agency space right now, you need to be smart enough to do your due diligence. Look into the people you are learning from. Question whether or not they have an agency. Don't just take one Stripe screenshot as evidence of that fact. If they don't have an agency now, have they had a successful agency in the past? Did they sell it? If they didn't sell it, why not? Because anybody with a successful business would have sold it for an exit. Question these things, be inquisitive, and challenge where you are learning from. And above all else, recognize this will not be easy. And if somebody is telling you it's going to be easy, they are lying to you to sell them or sell their own product. But if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to graft, if you're willing to sacrifice, if you're willing to understand that you are going to get way more no's and you're going to get yeses, this is a great entry-level business for you to get started in. That there is still some great quality content out there. You just need to do your own research. I've got some incredible things in store for you guys on this channel over the next few months. So if you enjoyed this video and you're not yet subscribed, smash the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.